Good morning. Today, we revisit a weather event that gripped all of Europe. Storm Amy, the first named storm of the 2025 season. On October 3rd, Amy made landfall, not as a typical autumn squall, but as a meteorological powerhouse that put northern Europe on high alert. The name Amy, chosen by Ireland, the UK, and the Netherlands, signaled a storm expected to cause major disruption. Weather maps glowed red and orange, and forecasters warned of hurricane-force winds, torrential rain, and monumental waves. News reports built anticipation, and communities braced for a true test of resilience. Amy's story is about more than wind speeds. It's about families preparing, authorities making tough calls, and emergency crews on standby. In the hours before landfall, a collective breath was held, as last-minute preparations echoed across the British Isles. As we explore Amy's journey, we'll uncover its rare origins, the science behind its explosive growth, and the lessons learned in its wake. Storm Amy was a reminder of the Atlantic's raw power and the importance of preparation. Storm Amy's origin was extraordinary, a rare fusion of two former hurricanes, Humberto and Imelda, from the hyperactive 2025 Atlantic season. Humberto, once a Category 5 monster, lost its tropical traits but retained immense energy as it moved north. Imelda's remnants were drawn in, and the two systems began a rare Fujiwara dance, with Humberto absorbing Imelda. This merger created a massive, moisture-laden low-pressure system, primed for rapid intensification as it sped toward Europe. The jet stream propelled the storm eastward, acting as both engine and steering wheel, dropping surface pressure dramatically. The result, a textbook case of atmospheric energy transfer, transforming decaying hurricanes into a formidable extratropical cyclone. Recognizing the threat, meteorological agencies named the system Amy, turning a distant disturbance into a tangible, trackable danger. Amy's birth is a powerful reminder of how interconnected our weather systems are. What starts in the tropics can end as a European superstorm. This transatlantic journey highlights the dynamic, sometimes violent, nature of our planet's atmosphere. Storm Amy's story began thousands of miles away, but its impact would be felt across an entire continent. To understand Amy's power, we need to talk about explosive cyclogenesis, when a storm's central pressure drops at least 24 millibars in 24 hours. Amy's pressure plunged below 950 hectopascals, rivaling major hurricanes and fueling ferocious winds. The steep pressure gradient created a rush of air, generating destructive gusts and making Amy a true atmospheric powerhouse. Forecasters also watched for a sting jet, a narrow core of extreme winds that can cause localized devastation. The combination of leftover hurricane energy, a potent jet stream, and rapid deepening made Amy a classic weather bomb. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for forecasters to issue timely warnings and help communities prepare. Amy's explosive growth was a perfect storm of atmospheric ingredients coming together at the worst possible time. The science behind it isn't just fascinating, it's life-saving. With Amy approaching, meteorological agencies sprang into action. Ireland's Met Ariane issued a status red marine warning, its highest alert, while orange wind warnings covered western counties. The UK's Met Office matched the urgency with amber wind alerts for Northern Ireland and yellow warnings across a broader area. Warnings came with clear advice: avoid travel, secure loose objects, and prepare for power outages. The Royal National Lifeboat Institution urged the public to stay away from the coast, highlighting the deadly risk of wave watching. Police, councils, and transport authorities amplified the message across every channel, creating a unified call to action. The goal: shift the public from passive observation to active preparation. This coordinated warning system was the first line of defense against Amy's fury. Communities quickly moved from alert to action. Schools in high-risk areas closed early, ensuring students and staff were home before the storm hit. Ferry operators canceled all sailings between Scotland and Northern Ireland, and police advised against non-essential travel. Homeowners secured loose items, businesses boarded up, and farmers sheltered livestock. Emergency services ramped up staffing, with road crews and utility workers on standby. These proactive steps, learned from past storms, helped minimize damage and injury. The public's response was a testament to the value of preparation. By acting early, communities put themselves in the best position to weather Amy's onslaught. Preparation made all the difference as the storm approached. By Friday afternoon, Amy struck with full force. Winds howled, rattling windows and uprooting trees, while rain lashed down in blinding sheets. Coastal areas faced hurricane-force gusts and waves up to 12 meters high, battering seawalls and flooding roads. Inland, rivers swelled and flash floods closed roads, with saturated ground unable to absorb the deluge. The storm's soundtrack was snapping branches, crashing trees, and the relentless roar of wind and rain. Power outages spread as lines fell, plunging thousands into darkness. Emergency crews responded to blocked roads and damaged infrastructure, but conditions made their work perilous. For many, the world outside was reduced to chaos as they waited for the storm to pass. Amy's power was undeniable, nature at its most dramatic and destructive. The status red warning was fully justified as the region endured a night of relentless assault. The storm's impact was felt everywhere from the coast to the countryside. Survival meant staying indoors and riding out the tempest. Amy brought Northern Europe to a standstill. Ferry cancellations severed key routes, airports halted flights, and roads flooded or blocked by debris. Rail services slowed or stopped, isolating rural communities and making travel hazardous. Public spaces, parks, libraries, and leisure centers closed to keep people safe. The most widespread disruption was power loss, with tens of thousands left in the dark and some losing mobile coverage. Emergency services focused on safety, urging everyone to stay home. The region hunkered down, waiting for the storm to subside. Only when the winds eased could the work of recovery begin. As Friday night turned to Saturday, Amy's peak passed over Ireland and the UK, leaving a trail of debris and power outages. Emergency crews began the massive cleanup, clearing roads and restoring electricity. Meanwhile, Amy's center barreled east across the North Sea, lashing the Faroe Islands and then Scandinavia with hurricane-force winds and flooding. Norway, Denmark, and the Netherlands braced for impact as Amy continued its destructive path. Back in the British Isles, utility workers toiled through the weekend to reconnect homes, often battling lingering winds and blocked roads. Recovery was slow, prioritizing critical infrastructure before reaching isolated areas. By Sunday, Amy weakened over Scandinavia, but still brought unsettled weather to northeastern Europe. From 2 Atlantic hurricanes to a European superstorm, Amy's journey was a masterclass in atmospheric power. As the winds finally died down, attention turned to lessons learned and future preparedness. Amy's story was far from over. It would shape how Europe faces storms to come. In Amy's aftermath, communities and authorities took stock, not just of damage, but of what worked. The warning systems proved effective, with clear, coordinated messages saving lives. Public adherence to safety advice and early closures minimized injuries and chaos. The storm exposed vulnerabilities in infrastructure, especially the power grid, prompting calls for upgrades and better preparedness. Amy fit a growing pattern: more frequent, intense storms linked to a changing climate. The event underscored the need for adaptation, stronger defenses, updated building codes, and resilient communities. Ultimately, Amy's story is one of resilience. Neighbors helping neighbors, emergency crews working tirelessly, and communities coming together. The storm tested the region, but it did not break its spirit. Amy was a powerful lesson in preparation, vulnerability, and the enduring strength of people facing nature's fury.